So welcome to GRNLive, Dale.
Thank you.
Welcome to London. What we'd like to talk about today is your work as a freelance reporter in Jordan. You've been there for a long time. Firstly, what's it like working there?
Okay, I mean, Jordan is interesting in that it borders Israel, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, all these, in Saudi Arabia, all these really hot spots. Now, people sometimes think that, okay, it remains kind of an oasis of calm in the midst of all that, but Jordan has experienced its own Arab Spring uprising, although it's, very minimal compared to the rest of the Arab world in terms of the numbers of protesters out on the streets, although protesters still come out weekly, demanding an end to corruption, demanding more political say by being able to actually elect a government which will lead to an elected prime minister, because King Abdullah is an absolute ruler. He appoints governments, dismisses governments, and they want to just, they want to have a greater say in how things are run in the country. Now, how that's all going to play out, it'll be interesting to see, given what's around us. Jordan is a very strong U.S. ally, and the U.S., I think, has a vested interest in keeping a stable Jordan, so it's not really pressed Abdullah to come out really hard with reforms. The king says that he is instituting the reform process in Jordan, and some people would agree with that and others would disagree. I mean, mainly the Muslim Brotherhood, they would say that what he's offering in terms of laws that will lead up to a parliamentary election by the end of the year don't go far enough as far as they're concerned.
Okay. So the wider implications then of further pressure in other of the countries you mentioned that border Jordan, do you think that's going to put more pressure on him to do something? And do you think the Americans will sort of sit tight and just really try and keep that bit of stability in the region?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to see how the fact that the Muslim Brotherhood is now playing a very pivotal role in Egypt in terms of, the president as a Muslim brother. We need to see how exactly that's going to play out vis-a-vis SCAF, the military council in Egypt, and really just how much power this new Egyptian president, who is a Muslim brother, actually has. I mean, what I've seen with the Muslim Brothers, or let's say Islamists, coming into authority in Tunisia and Libya and now Egypt, it's emboldened the Muslim Brothers in Jordan. Okay. Now, the thing about the Muslim Brothers in Jordan, which is absolutely completely different from anywhere else in the rest of the Middle East, is that the Muslim Brotherhood has been a legal, legitimate party in Jordan. They've always operated above ground. They were allowed to do so. King Hussein, the father of the present King Abdullah, and Abdullah, of course, allows them to operate above ground. There have been Muslim brothers who are parliamentarians. So it's a slightly different situation, but they are now bolder in terms of their demands, and they are very much in opposition, calling for a pressure on the king to do something more with regard to reform. Now, like I said, I think the U.S. does have a vested interest in keeping Jordan stable, but it has to be realistic too. I mean, Jordan can't kind of, it's not business as usual anymore these days in the Middle East.
Right.
You've got to move forward.
So just going back to my original point then, actually working there as a freelance, what's it like? I mean, is there a large expat community? What is the kind of environment?
Okay, I mean, there's only 6.5 million people in Jordan itself. The expat community is not huge, okay, but you do have people there related to the UN and EU, other international organizations, because, we have a lot of refugees from other places. So Iraqi refugees, now Syrian refugees, there have even been Yemeni and Libyan Libyans who've sought medical treatment after the revolution in Libya. So you've got international organizations that are dealing with these particular issues, as well as other NGOs that deal with development issues in Jordan as well. So, but in terms of major work, news-wise, you have to scrape around a bit and you know, deal with feature stories, because there will be, you know, that hard news story that will come up. But it isn't a constant daily story like you're seeing in Egypt right now.
Which is interesting, because it is right in the middle of all these places which are currently in the news and have been for the last 18 months.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, the fact is that, think of it, with the Arab Spring, suddenly you had a lot of places that were kind of more quiet news-wise, really springing into the forefront of
like
international
Tunisia,
news.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and frankly, you know, if you're covering worldwide news, it's going to be those stories that are really going to capture the attention of the viewer, or the reader,
Yes.
or the listener.
Yes.
You see. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess the advantage for you is that it's relatively stable. You can travel from there, I guess, into a number of other places.
Exactly.
I guess a number of journalists would use it as a jumping off point themselves to travel into other places.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's very, I mean, logistic-wise, it's great for that. You know, you have access to many, many places, and frankly, because you have people coming from these different places into Jordan, you also have access to those people
as
as
they
well.
come through.
Yes.
But also, I guess, looking further down the line, there is a chance, if this momentum is maintained, which there is a high chance it will be across the region, that it's going to itself become a big story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, look, change, I mean, the change has begun. It's unstoppable now.
Yes.
The direction where it's going is, yeah, that's a little bit unpredictable, frankly, okay?
Yes.
But change is.
So it's a question of time, rather
Yes.
than it's a question of patience and time and.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And, you know, each country, too, is, you know, going through its own metamorphosis. And so what's happening in Tunisia is not, you know, necessarily what you're going to be seeing in Egypt at all.
No.
Different places, different history, different ways of really handling political situations as well.
Yes.
Okay. Each country, Syria, completely different as well. You know, having the Ba'ath Party in power for as long as it has been in Syria. Completely different from Jordan. Completely different from Lebanon. I mean, Lebanon, you have this mosaic of different ethnic and religious, you know, communities. Jordan is basically, Sunni Muslim with, of course, you know, a Christian minority, okay? But that in and of itself makes it much different from a place like Lebanon or Syria, okay? Where you have this patchwork.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, I'm sure that, as you say, you know, as time will tell, the force of change will make something happen. I guess it's wait and see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.